I was saying that a lot of people don't do business plans, but it's good to have a business plan because it makes things clearer in writing. It crystallizes thoughts in the head. And if, for example, you are running out of money and you want to bring in a new investor, the new investor will want to look at your business plan. What exactly do you want to do with this money, right? And very often, as I mentioned earlier, that when people start business, they start with a small capital and a lot of optimism. But as you know, life is not so simple. Usually there will be obstacles along the way, and often people find that they run out of cash, run out of capital. In which case, they will have to look for new investors, right? And new investor will ask, "Where's your business plan?" The other thing is you may want to borrow money from the bank. Again, the bank will want to know where's your business plan because they want to know what you want to do for the future. How are you going to bring the business forward? And they want to assess what are the risks involved in lending for your business. Okay. Thirdly, your staff will need guidance. A lot of entrepreneurs, they are very clear about what they want to do, but it's all in their head. The staff don't know. And this is where the staff will need to be guided. Otherwise, they are like headless chicken running about. And quite often, disputes within staff, bickering and all that, result from lack of clarity as to what the boss wants. Okay. And for example, I mentioned earlier that there's tension between marketing and finance, okay? Between marketing and the operations side, because marketing wants to, their aim is to have as much sales as possible, whereas the finance side wants to have some control over the risk. involved. You can't just keep on selling. You give credit to people that don't pay you the risk, right? That's also the risk, right? So it's a question of striking the balance. Part of the objective of a business plan is to strike that balance. The last one there, which talks about budget and performance measures. Okay, a lot of people set off to, although they don't have a business plan, they set off to prepare budgets or forecasts, and quite often these are figures plucked from the air without any basis. We plan to grow by 20% next year. How? Why? How do you get to 20%? Or that's what the boss wants. Okay, so there's no basis for it. And with a business plan, then you can be very clear what is the basis or what are the assumptions you're using to provide for the future. And the budget basically is a financial translation of your business plan. Right? So you can't do the budget without the strategic plan. And item 5 there, to project that we are better, that's not the real answer. So it's that's only to be said to shock sendiri. Okay. So the answer should be 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Right? Okay. So for the first question, right? No one answered correctly. No one answered correctly.
They got part of the answer.
They got part, but in order to answer, to be 100%, you must answer 100% correct lah. So this is the correct answer, and then the first question, some answer part correct. A lot of them answer part correct. And then this is your grade. Can you all see? This is your grade. Jessica 51%, SK 36%, PC 54%, Danish 63%, Chloe 33%, Catherine 45%. Okay, all this.
Don't worry about that. Don't stress yourself. This is just to gauge how well you understand the strategy. Okay, let's go to the second question.
Okay.
Ready?
Yours one is because you're connected to the Wi-Fi or the what now?
Oh dear.
Never mind.
No?
Never mind. I will settle for you. I'll settle this. I need to come out to Chrome. Go ahead to the second one. Then I will settle.
Okay. The second one.
Wait, the second question is this.
Which of the following best describes situational analysis? All right. The answer is C. Okay.
No. Which one? The second answer. The second one. The second question or now is second?
Yeah.
But you is third. Second is this one.
But just now, I think you got it mixed up.
Oh no. Second. Okay, second one is this one.
You got it mixed up.
Second question is this one. Okay. Yeah.
The answer is C. Basically, situational analysis is knowing yourself. So in the context of business, is knowing your business. Okay. So when you say knowing yourself, take you as a person. You want to know yourself. You want to compete in the market. You have to know internally what you are, what are your strengths and weaknesses, right? Then you also have to know what is out there, right? So you need to know both the internal factors and the external factors that have an impact to your business, right? So by the same analogy, and so you see that A, it excludes or it missed out on the market, right? And B, missed out on the resources that your business use. And whereas D, missed out external factors such as government rules, for example. So C is the one. In other words, everything that impacts the business in a significant way in the future should be analyzed or assessed in a situational analysis.
Okay. Yeah, some answered correctly, some not correct. This one.
Yeah. Never mind about who scored one. This is not a real test. It's just... Okay, the next question is matching the CSF to the industry or the business. Now, CSF, as the name implies, it stands for critical success factor. Now, there are many success factors, of course, many. And some are more important than others. But the critical success factors are those factors that are critical, without which the business dies. Okay? It's like oxygen. You don't have the oxygen, you die. So you can have a lot of success factors to worry about, but the critical one you must address. You must address. Okay? All right, let's look at the businesses that I gave as examples. The 5-star hotel. What is their critical success factor? It's not pricing. It's not speed. It is customer service. If you don't give customer service in a 5-star hotel, which is expected from the customer, you won't get repeat business. Yeah. So that's the critical success factor. In the case of a budget hotel, actually, customers don't expect you to have first-class butler service or what. What they want is pricing, cheap. They want budget, right? So that's a different critical success factor. So if you open a budget hotel and you can't compete on cost and price, then you're just not addressing the critical success factor. Travel agency. What is important for the customer? They want to know that when they travel using your agency, they don't get stranded in the country that they are supposed to go to. You know, end up with flights cancelled or hotels not booked and so on. So it's reliability, reliable service, and that's one of the big travel agencies is called Reliance. Yeah. Fast food. Okay, fast food eatery. It's not the the gastronomic experience that you really go for. It's fast service. You know, lunchtime you want to have a quick bite. That's what fast food industry is about. You know? And they survive based on budget pricing, but fast turnover. You know, in a lunchtime crowd, they need a table turn of possibly 2 or 3 times, at least twice in an hour. That's important for them. Car manufacturer, right? Lots of cars are produced by different manufacturers. There's a lot of competition. So what is the thing that is critical for them? Is product features. Product features that enable them to do positioning and niche marketing, because they can't be all things to all men. Right? Telecommunication. Okay, now telecommunication companies have to invest very large amounts of money in infrastructure. So the critical success factor for them is capacity. If they invest 100 million in infrastructure and they only use 10% of that capacity, then they are in deep trouble, right? So their aim is to use as much capacity as possible. That's why you see a lot of their marketing strategy is to enable the customers to take up their service and eat up their capacity. Okay, in the case of banks, critical success factor, of course, there are many other success factors, service quality and so on. But the biggest critical success factor is funding cost. Okay, if you're going to lend at 6% and your funding cost is higher than other banks, and you can only take the money at 5 to 6% cost, then you are basically losing money and you won't survive, right? So funding cost is very important. Okay, everybody happy then?
We ask first. Everybody, so far okay? Happy? If happy, please type happy. Okay, is everything okay? Okay, we move on. Okay.
Okay, you want to talk about their scoring?
Oh, you want to look at your score again? Okay. So for this one, okay, we continue on. For those of you who want to see your score, you see here. So sorry, the first question I did not mention that it's multiple. Or can choose multiple answers. So this is your Leslie 72, Ken 24, Linda 63, Wendy 36. Oh, no, you tell. Just show you lah, huh? Just show you. Okay. Still breaking? No. I saw the wrong comment. Everything okay, better than before. So far, so good. Ken is very happy. Everyone is happy.
Good.
So we go for the next, your next explanation. What is break-even?
Okay, what is break-even? For those who are accountants, they'll know what is break-even. But for those who are uninitiated in accounts, break-even basically is fixed expenses equal to contribution. That means you don't make money, you don't lose money, right? And it's a very important gauge, important threshold, because if you're losing money, you need to know where your break-even is, right? And because that will give you an indication of how far you are from break-even. Let's answer E lah. Fixed expenses equals contribution. Now what's contribution? Okay, let's put it this way. You have a sales, and then you have got the variable cost, right? The direct cost. That's the variable cost. It goes up and down depending on your sales. If you have more sales, you have more variable cost. Okay. If you don't have the sales, you don't have that variable cost. Okay. For example, sales commission. That's a variable cost. Yeah. So the more sales you have, the more commission you have. Right. So you minus the two, you get the gross profit. That gross profit then deduct the variable overheads. Right? Variable overheads would be, for example, your marketing staff. Right? So when you employ people, the more you sell, the more you employ for marketing. Right? If you don't have so much sales, you won't employ so many marketing staff. So that's variable overheads. So when you deduct those two, the gross profit, you deduct the variable overhead, you get a contribution. This contribution is important because it covers your fixed overheads. What's your fixed overheads? Those things that don't change. Whether you sell, don't sell, you have to incur. Rental, for example, that's your fixed overhead, right? You don't sell anything, also you have to pay the landlord the rental. Okay, so this is where break-even is important because you have to earn enough to cover your fixed overheads. Okay. That's why it says here fixed expenses equals contribution. That's a break-even point. All right. So that is something that entrepreneurs have to watch like a hawk. Very important. For example, if your break-even point, to reach your break-even point, you have to have sales of 1 million, right? And you are now only at 800,000. So you want to try as hard as possible to get to sales of 1 million. At least you're not underwater. The second break-even point is perhaps even more important is the cash break-even point. Now, what I mentioned earlier is the accounting break-even point, but there's also a cash break-even point. Now, that's when your cash flow in equals your cash flow out. So you don't need to have put in more money in order to survive. Right? That's cash break-even point. Now, I don't have time to go through in detail all this. As you attend the modules, you will get a better understanding. This is just a preliminary scratching the surface, so to speak. Okay, next.
Okay, so for this number 5, there are some people answer correctly and there are some people didn't answer correctly lah. So it's good that we ask this question because I always think that everyone would be obvious, but okay, it's good that you know that you don't answer correctly and you know the reason. Okay, no problem. So let's move to the next question, number 6. Okay, here.
Yeah, question number 6 is talking about strategic weaknesses. Now, I've been involved in many companies, and a lot of them list down weaknesses which are actually not weaknesses. Okay, when the problem or the obstacle is common to all, let's say you are one-legged and you're playing football one-legged. Now, if all the other players are two-legged and you're one-legged, yes, then it's a weakness for you. But if everybody else is one-legged playing with you, then it's common to everybody. So it's not a weakness anymore. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so where it's common, you don't call it a weakness. For example, change of import and export rules. That applies to everybody, right? So, okay, so ringgit weakened, US dollar went up and you have to import US dollar priced goods. Okay, it applies to everybody, not just you. So you cannot say, oh, that's my weakness, right? Because it's common to all. Global economic slowdown, it applies to everybody. Oh yeah, global economy is slow, you know. That's my weakness. It's not your weakness. It's a problem for everyone, all right? So you don't factor in those in your strategic direction because it applies to everybody. So a new competitor that came into the market, well, it is also competing with all other players, not just you. Right? So again, it's a common thing. Manufacturing process bottlenecks. Now that's a weakness. If you have a manufacturing process that is a bottleneck somewhere in your organization and your competitor does not have it, then that's a weakness of yours, right? It's just like you have one leg and the others have two legs to run. Now you lose to them. in running, right? The oil price increase, well, that's common to all, so it's not a weakness. Yeah, I hope that's clear.
Okay, so far, how's everyone? Okay. So for this question, some answered correctly and some don't. Like Elaine get it correctly, Ian, YC got it correct, Kenneth got it correctly. You know,
Good.
it's good, good. Leslie, Bernice got it correctly. So we move on to the next question. Okay, here you go, question number 7.
Yeah. 7A is strategic thinking. What is strategic thinking? It basically is the visualization of how strategies will impact us in the future. Of course, we bogged down with a lot of small details, firefighting here and there, but don't forget the big picture, because that's the long-term direction you have to think about where you want to go, and that will affect the business for years to come. Right? So that's why strategic thinking is looking at big picture. C, strategic thinking is looking into major and what, minor? No, not minor, we already agree it's big picture. Short term? No, it's not short term actions. Sometimes short-term actions may be done for expediency, but it is the long-term strategies. That's where strategic thinking addresses. Yeah. D, strategic thinking is looking at how to gain sustainable edge over competitors. Basically, you and the competitors are in the same market, and you want to think about what you can do differently from the competitors so that you gain an edge over them in the future. Yeah? So that's strategic thinking, basically. Of course, if you are a monopoly, you don't have to think about all this, right? Because there's no one competing with you. Right? You don't have to think.
Okay, so these are the answers. Those of you who had answers, so you all know whether you all answered correctly or not. I think the purpose of doing this quiz is not like you...
It's to stimulate your... It's not to test you how clever you are, how what do you call, how inadequate you are. It's to stimulate your brain as to what business and strategic thinking is about.
Yeah. So, okay, so Wendy said, because Wendy was asking why is it not detailed? The answer is strategic thinking is being concerned about the big picture. But Wendy's answer is detailed, and right now she's messaging in the chat box asking, may I know why it is not detailed? Why detail is not the answer?
Oh, I think maybe you got mixed up with what I was trying to say. Now, strategic thinking, as we go along the later modules, will tell you that it's a very detailed process. Okay? In order to arrive at the strategic plans that you want, you have to go through very detailed steps, a lot of data collection and so on, right? Brainstorming and so on. When I say why when you think why is it I don't look at the details, it's not that I don't look at the details. I'm saying strategic thinking or strategic planning is about the big picture. In other words, where are you heading? Supposing you're a manufacturer of desktop computers, and the future is, desktop computers, by the way, globally, the sales are dropping, as you know. People like Dell and others are having problems with desktop computers because everybody is moving to the smartphone now and so on, right? So, so are you concerned, if you are the owner of this business, are you concerned that your employee comes in wearing a skirt above the knee? Right? No. You look at the big picture. What are you going to do in 5 years' time when your customers don't want to use desktop, or half of them don't want to use the desktop? They all switch to the iPad lah, the handphone lah, and so on. Okay, so that's the big picture I'm talking about. Right? I hope that clarifies it.
Okay, so Wendy, you clear? Okay, we move on to the next question. Okay, this is an interesting one.